What is a guy do you wish girls knew? I am perfectly happy sitting in silence playing video games for a few hours at a time on a weekend morning night, and it doesn't mean I'm mad at ignoring you don't want to spend time together. You boy is just trying to chill. The woman here, but I definitely need my hobby time as well. My current boyfriend and I love to take a few hours out of our day to go do our hobbies, then reconvene and talk about what we did. I will say this, though I used to be in a relationship with a man who did use video games as a method to ignore me. When I say he played for 16 hours a day on weekends, and until bedtime every night after work, I am dead serious. He considered taking a long way home from Walmart, taking me out on a Saturday, and got insulted when I asked why we didn't do anything else. He wouldn't even hang out with his friends when they were in our own living room. I would be hanging out with them while he sat in his room watching top 10 and 9 battles on YouTube. Couldn't play Smite because, well, his friends were all in our house and not in front of their computers. Please be patient with a partner who questions your video game time. You deserve time to enjoy your hobby. They should never take that away from you. They don't have the right to control all of your free time. Sometimes you need to entertain yourself and not depend on your partner's attention. Of course. Trying to figure out where this insecurity comes from may help both of you better understand each other. My boyfriend is very passionate about skateboarding and music, and he takes time every day to partake in these activities. He also makes sure to be home at mealtimes to enjoy himself with me, and to have days where it's just the two of us. I'm sure most of you are aware enough to balance these things, but your partner may have had a very negative experience before. They may not want to manipulate you. They may just be paranoid. Sometimes stuff is just difficult. For no reason I can also be sad. Just because I don't cry doesn't mean I'm not sad. And we don't get hints. Just tell us what you want, and things would be so much easier for everyone involved also. We don't want to be the ones who always initiate sex. It makes us feel creepy sometimes. If I'm lying in bed with someone, just enjoying the moment together, I should be able to just enjoy the moment, and let my mind drift to wherever it's going. If you want to talk about the future of the relationship or something, that's great and we can do that if you start that conversation. But if you ask me out of the blue what I'm thinking about, and I say Balbi's Slap 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 song from Jimmy Neutron, then you shouldn't get mad at me, just because it's not the thing they wanted me to be thinking about. Just tell me you want to talk about the relationship, and we can do that. When we tell women that we don't know how we feel about something, it's usually true, and we genuinely don't really understand how we are supposed to feel. I personally wasn't allowed to express emotions growing up, and it turned into me not being able to understand my emotions. All the hurtful things they say and don't just magically disappear from men's memory. We have feelings too, and shitting on a man for being honest with feelings as not being manly is not only cruel but also highly ironic, considering there's a constant yearning for men with emotion. Thanks for all the lovely awards. Some kind folks out there less than 3, and also, it hurts to see how many of why all have been hurt. I feel for you, truly. Hang in there. I'm rooting for you. If you genuinely compliment a guy, don't be upset if they don't react the same way a woman would react to a random compliment. Most dudes get them so infrequently that when it does happen, there is a part of them that wonders if it was genuine or if they are just giving them a polite and/or pity compliment. This often leads to an awkward, unenthusiastic response to said compliment. It never occurs to most guys to just say thanks. But the whole wanting sex all the time pretty much is because we're attracted to you, and it's just a biological response. The vast majority of us guys don't start out going, I want to fuck something. We start out pretty much thinking about whatever else, cars, games, friends, body aches, and then you come along and hold our hand, kiss us, snuggle, and before you know it, we want to be as close as we can to you, and that means sex. My ex-girl accused me of just wanting sex all the time, and that's all I saw in her, and it was totally not true. I loved doing stuff with her, hanging out, and laughing. But when we started snuggling, she made me horny. Because I loved her and was so incredibly attracted to her. So yeah, I want to share that intimacy with the woman I love. It wasn't I want sex, come here and fuck me. It was I'm so happy you're holding me, oh, I'm getting hard, let's make love. This is getting way more attention than I expected, and I wanted to add something. This isn't to say men don't just suddenly get horny on their own, and then ask their so to have sex. That does happen and it's normal, for everyone, men and women. But I don't think that's the majority case. A very large percentage of the time, it's just as I had originally written. At least it is for me, anyway, and I know I'm not alone. You know that complaint that women sometimes have that just because they are polite to you doesn't mean they're interested in you? Yeah, that works both ways. I'm not saying good morning because I want to bed you, I'm not holding the door for you because I think you'll reward me with some nookie for doing so, etc., etc. I'm doing so because, like you, I'm a decent human being and am polite. Oh? Post-ejaculation clarity. Immediately after ejaculation, our brains are not flooded with sexual chemistry. So, there's a window upwards of 10 minutes, though usually much faster, where we don't really have a sex drive. It's a weird feeling. Don't get mad, but instead use your womanly wiles and lures to entice us into cuddling. Even without a sex drive in those very fleeting moments, a hug is always nice. Our feelings are just as valid as yours and shouldn't be held against us. My fiancée and I are in the process of planning our wedding, and she consistently gets irritated with me because I don't get as excited as she does. I'm sorry, I do want to marry you and I am excited, but I find it really fucking hard to jump up and down about picking out flowers and centerpieces. Just because you have been planning your Disney wedding since you were a young girl doesn't mean dudes do the same, and getting posy with me because I am not mirroring your emotions exactly is really not cool, and not healthy for both of our mental health and the relationship. We need just as much support as you do. It's always a shock when a guy kills himself until you look back at all the subtle cries for help. We're screaming on the inside and we need someone to let us know it's okay. To all those asking me if I'm fine, I am the least of your worries. Please, instead of talking to this meaningless random dude if he's okay, just go ask your fathers, brothers, mothers, and sisters. Your family matters, not any of these fucking digital inputs around you. If you're throwing signals at a guy, and he's not catching them, it might not be because he's so dense he doesn't notice them. It might be that he does see them, but his self-esteem is so low his internal dialogue talks him out of believing you are interested in him in a romantic or sexual context. Throwing more obvious signals doesn't overcome that. If knowing his self-esteem is that low isn't enough for you to lose interest, be direct. That doesn't mean ask him if he wants to have coffee or get a drink with you, as either of those leaves wiggle room for misinterpretation. Ask him out on a date, specifically, say date, so there is no mistaking your intention. The worst thing likely to happen is that he'll say no. Which does sting, but not like spending a month throwing hints he never responds to. Not all men, of course, and some women have it too, but the nothing box is real. The nothing box is a small section of the brain that contains absolutely nothing at all. When we enter the nothing box, we genuinely are not thinking a single thought. There is no song playing in our head, there is no thought process, and there's so much nothing that we don't even recognize at the time that we're not thinking anything, because to do so would be a thought. If someone looks like their brain has just checked out and they have a dead-eyed stare into the middle distance, then they're probably in the nothing box. The passage of time ceases to exist, no physical sensation makes it through. Once in the nothing box, you stay in there until some external stimulus, or the formation of an errant thought pulls you out of it. Leaving the nothing box is the first time that you are even aware you were in the nothing box. It's like a nap for the brain while all other functions remain. If you say it is fine or something like that when it isn't, a normal guy will not get that hint. Guys are simple. If something is wrong, or something, say it. No, it is not a walk in the park to be a man or male. We have other things that we struggle with or ways where we are at a disadvantage. We generally get that something isn't right when you say it is fine, but we don't know what the exact problem is. I want physical affection outside of sex. Maybe it's just the women I've been with, but no one ever hugs me, rubs my back, or plays with my hair. And I do that stuff for you ladies all the time. Sometimes I just want you to walk up to me and hug me. Part of the reason I ask for sex so often is that I feel physically lonely, and it's the only time I get to feel the touch of another human being. We can be emotional too, it's not just you ladies. We might not express it the same, might seem fine or just a bit off, but inside we're falling apart or seething pit of rage. We are insecure as hell at times. You fuck, I'm a fat piece of shit. I could be the ugliest person alive. I'm in no way capable of doing this, or I'm drowning and in way too deep. It can creep up out of nowhere and cripple us. We love being complimented, want to be wanted, want to feel needed, which is part of the reason we automatically slip into how can this be fixed when we listen to your problems, instead of giving an oh damn, that sucks answer that you might be looking for.